Good morning, everybody. So today is a new day on board our ship. Yesterday was really nice because I just kind of took it easy after being in Hawaii and being so busy, and then the time changes. So each day we're adjusting our time, going from Hawaii time to mainland time. So we went an hour forward yesterday, and today we went an hour forward. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get to sleep in at least an hour. So basically we're 2 hours ahead. So that means we have one more hour to go until we're on mainland time. So our ship is cruising along. The captain just came on and said we have 1,000 more miles to go, nautical miles, until we get to Canada. But remember, we're not getting off in Vancouver. We're going to continue on the next cruise. We're doing a back-to-back cruise, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Also, the captain said we've got some big swells out there, and those swells are coming from storms that were thousands of miles away, or hundreds of miles away, I guess, and we're still feeling those waves. So those waves travel a long distance. So you can see in this video that the ship is rocking a little bit, and they've got the stabilizers on. So that is what is going on. So this cruise, the Hawaii cruise, I'll show you the itinerary right here. So this cruise we've been planning for a couple years. So in 2019 is when we started planning it, and we originally were going to do it in 2020. And of course COVID hit, and that canceled that cruise. So then we said to our travel agent, well, hey, COVID will be over by 2021, so let's do it then. So they rebooked us for 2021, and then that got canceled. And now we're in 2022, and we finally got to do the cruise. So the third time was the charm. Good grief, who would have ever thought that COVID would have happened and caused such a disruption to all of our lives? So right now I'm sitting in the Rolling Stone Rock Room, and I'll turn the camera around and you can see it in the daytime. And be sure to look at the waves out the window there. And we're just kind of rocking and rolling a little bit. And there's the stage. So this is one of the few places where people are not sitting right now. So I went up to the crow's nest. I'm like, I'll make the video in the crow's nest. And there were a lot of people up there. And I said, I'll go to the pool. And there were a lot of people out there. And I wanted to go to the Lido and make a video. And there were lots of people out there. So that's okay. So the Hawaii cruise is a lot of fun. So if you decide to do a Hawaii cruise, I want to give you some advice on this one. So there's several itineraries for Hawaii cruises. So the first one is you fly to Honolulu and get off the ship and do a cruise around the islands, and then you go back to Honolulu and fly home. So that's the first itinerary. The other itinerary is you do round trip. So the round trip cruises leave from the US, from Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Vancouver, and sometimes Seattle. And they go from the mainland to the Hawaiian Islands, cruise around the islands, and come back. So that's the cruise that we're doing. And then other cruises that they have are kind of passing through. So you'll leave from the mainland and you'll go to Hawaii and you'll cruise around the islands, and then you get off the ship in Honolulu or one of the islands and then fly home. So in that case, the ship is probably continuing on. So maybe they're going to go on to Australia, or they're going to go to Asia. So all kinds of different itinerary options for doing the Hawaii cruises. The Hawaii cruises are a lot of fun because they also have a lot of activities to keep you busy. So our cruise had ukulele lessons, and they also had hula lessons. So a lot of people did that. And then of course they've got the Hawaiian talks and the Hawaiian lectures and the Hawaiian lei making and all of that stuff to keep people busy on the ship. So it is a 5-day crossing from one side, from the mainland to the islands. So they have to keep everybody occupied, otherwise passengers will get bored and have an uprising. So that's kind of fun. So of course another thing to think about on the Hawaii cruises is your rooms. So do you want an inside room? Do you want an ocean view room that has a porthole so you can see outside? Or do you want a room with a balcony? So on this cruise, as you've all seen, we have a balcony room, and we've been spending a lot of time out on that balcony. So pretty much every day we have breakfast out there, and it's a great way to wake up. Just go outside and enjoy the fresh ocean air and the beautiful ocean, and have your eggs and sausage and coffee out there. Life couldn't be better. So we would have had just a fun time if we would have gotten an inside room. An inside room is a lot less expensive than the balcony room. So that's something to think about. So people keep walking by and they see me talking to the camera, and they're like, what is he doing? But that's okay. I'm getting used to vlogging in public. It takes a while. So yeah, the Hawaii cruise is a great itinerary, and I highly recommend that if you ever want to do it, book a cruise to Hawaii. Remember, they leave from Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Vancouver, and even Honolulu. And if you're going from North America, and if you're going from Asia, they also leave from Asia. So it's a great way to travel and see the world. Okay, I've moved over to the billboard onboard rock room. So this is where they have the kind of the top 40 music playing. So this is a fun room. So let's talk about more of the Hawaii itineraries. So with Holland America, they have all kinds of cruise options. They have the short cruises and the longer cruises. And the Hawaii cruise is a longer cruise. So ours was 18 days. So because it's 18 days, you'll find that most of the passengers are retired, or they're not working, or who knows what, or they're taking a lot of vacation time to do this cruise. So on some of the shorter cruises, like 7 days, you'll have a lot of kids. Because this is a longer cruise, the kids are all in school right now, so they can't do a 18-day cruise to Hawaii. So that's one thing to think about too if you want to do the Hawaii cruise, is can the kids go, and will the kids be on board? So there's a few kids, but not very many. But in a few weeks, when they start doing the Alaska cruises, I can pretty much guarantee that the swimming pools will be full with lots of kids and having fun splashing around. So Alaska's a great itinerary. Speaking of Alaska, the crew members keep trying to talk me into staying on board another week, which means I have to pay more money, but they want me to stay on board another week and do Alaska with them. So as we've said before, we've been to Alaska several times, and you can see that we've got several Alaska videos in the playlist below. So if you want to see Alaska, check those out. So I talk to the people on board and tell them, oh, well, when you go to Juneau, you got to do this. When you go to Skagway, do this. So they're like, oh, can you stay on board and come with us? And then we can go do this stuff together. I'm like, yeah, that'd be a great idea. But the problem is I have to go to college graduation in May, like the first weekend we get back. And if I did Alaska, I'd miss that graduation. And boy, would I be in a lot of trouble. So we won't be staying on board to do Alaska. But maybe we'll do it later this summer. We'll see. We don't know what the plans are further down the line. So we live close to the port, so we can always look for cruises as they come. So that's fun. So the Hawaii itinerary is a great itinerary. I definitely recommend that you do this if you have a chance. And let's go around the ship and see what else we can do. I was going to do the next part of the video in the BB King Lounge, but they were playing the music and it was too loud. So now we're here, just kind of outside Club Orange. So another thing to think about when you're going to do a Hawaiian cruise is what are your ports and how long will you be there? So this ship spent 6 days in the islands. We spent 2 days in Honolulu, so we did an overnight, and that was really nice. We also spent 2 days on the Big Island, so we went to Kona, and went to the other side of the island and went to Hilo. So some cruises will just go spend a day in each of the ports, so you'll spend like 4 days on the islands, but our ship spent 6. So one time we did a cruise on a different line, and we did 5 days, so we spent an overnight in Honolulu and then a day in each of the other islands. So that's something to think about, is how long will you be in each of the ports. I highly recommend doing an overnight in Honolulu because that city has a lot to see and do. It's always fun. The big city in the Hawaiian Islands. And now we're back in the room, so I had to come back here because my battery on my cell phone is almost dead and I need to take my mask off. So another thing to think about with these cruises to Hawaii is, do you want to do the whole South Pacific? So there are cruises that will leave from North America and they will cruise the South Pacific. So they'll do the North Pacific and the South Pacific. So one of the itineraries that I dream of doing leaves from San Diego, and it goes San Diego to the Hawaiian Islands, and then you go down to Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, Rarotonga and the Cook Islands, and then Tahiti, and then you go back up to North America. So that is a great itinerary, and someday that'd be totally worth it. So that's like a 50-day cruise. If you have 50 days to set aside and a lot of money, you can do that. So I need to make a lot of money on YouTube before I can afford to do that cruise. I don't know if that's going to happen though, with my 6 viewers. So yeah, so there's all kinds of itineraries to do for the Hawaiian Islands and the Pacific Ocean. So do you want to do a short cruise? Do you want to do a really long cruise? Do you want to do a medium cruise? Do you want to do like 7 days around the islands? Do you want to do 20 days to North America and back? Or do you want to do 50 days or longer and do the whole Pacific? And then they also have other cruises that will leave from North America and go all the way to Australia. So that would be a fun one to do too, and you get to see all the islands as you go. So all kinds of options out there for traveling. So that's our video today. I want to say thank you for watching. Hope everybody's having a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Be sure to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and we'll see you on tomorrow. Tomorrow's another sea day. As the captain said before, we have over 1,000 miles to go before we get to Canada, so we're just going to keep cruising. And the good thing is the captain says that the weather or the waves are going to calm down a little bit tomorrow, so the remnants of the storm that we're going through right now should be all cleared up, and we should have smooth sailing up to Canada. But we'll see if that really happens or not, right? It's fun to be a little rocky. So all right, talk to you later, everybody.